What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to learn how to install Visual Studio 2019. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my favorite browser, and I'm just going to go ahead and look up Visual Studio download. And that should give us a link to visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads. And really all we need is the community edition. So we can go ahead and wait for the download to begin. Once the download completes, we'll go ahead and click on this. We'll allow Windows to install. This is all due to the user account control. And so we'll go ahead and continue. And so now what it's doing is just downloading all the files in the background. And in the meanwhile, it's going to begin installing them. And I believe the actual installer to install Visual Studio doesn't begin until now. Here we go. This is where the actual installation process begins. So this is the actual installation for Visual Studio.net. The pre-installer basically downloaded the installation files that allows you to make all the selections that you're going to need. For web development, all you need is ASP.NET web development option here. And this will give you cross-platform. You can create a solution in Windows, open it up on Mac, and be able to deploy from Mac, run it on Mac, or open it up or start it off in Mac and open it up in Windows. So for web development, this is all you really need. It's 9.2 gigs, and you just hit install, and it'll begin to download the files and install them as they come through. Something to keep in mind also is that if you ever need to install more packages or more options, you can always launch the installer once again, and the installer will come back to the screen that was showing before this, and you can go ahead and select other options in order to include for the installation. While this finishes installing, I'll go ahead and play some music for your entertainment. And of course, the last 1% is what normally takes on this to complete. It's almost like a football game. You reach the 1 yard line right before the field goal, and it takes you 4 downs in order to get it over that. And sometimes you can't even get that ball over the finish line or over the goal line, and you end up having to punt it for a field goal. And it's done. It fires off. Don't forget to sign in. This is actually an important part of making sure that your account, actually, I think this is for your licensing. It's a free tool, but you still need to sign in order to get your free license. So you would sign in, put in your username, whether it be your email, your phone, or your Skype. If you don't have an account with Microsoft, go ahead and create one now, and then it'll go ahead and fire off. And once you're logged in, it'll go ahead and set up your settings. And you're ready to start coding. We'll go ahead and create a quick project. You can do a console app for C#, for VB. You could do an ASP.NET Web Core application, which is what we are going to select. There are other options in here. If you're going to be doing something that runs on Windows, you can go ahead and select the .NET Framework. .NET Framework does not run on Mac or Linux. So if you're going to be doing cross-platform development, do not choose Framework, choose Core. And then also .NET Standard and all this other stuff. Well, for now, we'll focus on ASP.NET Core. And we'll go ahead and put it on a sandbox folder. And I'm going to call it test app 1. And I will be working with an API. So I'll go ahead and create that. And again, we're just doing this to make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to. Excellent. And we can go ahead and launch this. Oh, interesting. There's some build errors. This is not supposed to happen. Let's see what happened. Well, let's go ahead and do a clean. And we'll do a rebuild. I think that worked. Let's try it again. So the project is configured to use SSL. This is because I believe it was either 2017 or 2018, Google decided to make the browser safe to browse with. In other words, it required SSL. And if you didn't have an SSL, then it would begin to reject your site depending on certain features that you were using. And so now we get a self-signed generated certificate that allows you to use Chrome safely. So we'll just go ahead and click on Don't Ask Me Again, and we'll say yes. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and click yes only. And we're about to install the certificate. So we'll hit yes again. And then we get the weather forecast. Now you'll notice that this launched on Edge. And you'll also notice that this is ugly. There is some tools that you can install, some add-ons to the browsers to go ahead and make the JSON pretty. But I also don't want it to show up on Edge. I actually want my browser to be Canary. So now when I go ahead and fire that up, you'll notice that Canary comes in. And I also want to install JSON add-on. It's called JSON View. We'll go ahead and add that to Chrome, add the extension. And we'll come back over here, refresh, and we'll get some pretty JSON formatting. So that's installing Visual Studio 2019 for web development. You don't need anything else. You can add the Azure tools if you will be using Azure. If you're going to be using AWS, you don't have to worry about the Azure tools. Just creating your website in this fashion is more than sufficient. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.